So far, she'd almost been blown to pieces, and the ceiling partially collapsed on her, and now she was adding to all her cuts and bruises while attempting to lug her portable workshop, or lab, in a briefcase up the on-ramp to the Proxima Arcturus.
What an absolutely stupid name. The Close Giant Red Star? I was led to believe this was a stealth mission, and the best ship in the entire fleet may as well have been named Giant Glowing Target. Why not just open an all-frequency channel and sing the Adastrian Oath of Allegiance while we're at it?
She came to an abrupt halt, but not in time to prevent her collision with Rowlick Nikoski. "Are you unharmed, Vereka?" His booming, heavy voice settling into the ship's deck, and Vereka could have sworn that it shifted slightly.
Yes, I'm fine, Relic. Shouldn't you be securing the cargo? We take off in less than a minute and 25 seconds.
As she spoke, Vereka mentally checked her internal clock, trying and failing to use it as a distraction to the fact that she was still pressed up against the giant of a man, and the effect their proximity was having on her biology. "This is true, but I was sent to make sure that you were on board. We're closing the door now. You should get to the bridge and strap in."
Right, I'm heading there now. This bulky thing just slowed me down a bit, is all. Right then. I'll see you in a minute.
At that, Vereka quickly and clumsily darted down the hall, trying and failing to make the sharp left turn into the hydraulic lift towards the bridge.
Oh, grease it all, blasted infernal useless muscles!
Fumbling with the case and the palm print activated lift activation panel, she lost a precious 15 seconds.
Wait, hold that lift!
Sanasha Jeffel appeared from around the corner, out of breath and face flushed, her cranial implant still blinking from use while operating as a doctor in the trauma ward.
Wonderful. She's still in medical scan mode, which means that she can see exactly how flustered I am. Worst day of my life. Of course, Major. I thought Rowlick and I were the only two left not on the bridge.
Well, Captain, as Chief Medical Officer, I was obligated to at least view the supplies that we'd been stocked with. While I am not as yet fully familiar with the crew's extensive medical charts, I was able to quickly examine the basic needs and requirements of our crew and compare them to the supply list, and we should be able to remain aboard for several months before we will be forced to restock. As she spoke, the two of them had entered, rode, and exited the lift to the sight of their commander, Colonel Jessex Jeffel, seated in the commander's chair at the very front of the bridge. He had turned on the ship's solo crew mode, allowing him more limited but access to all ship systems at once. He was currently running the Proxima Arcturus through the pre-flight checklist, while Lieutenant Colonel Carthan Hozick rambled off complaints from his own chair, pushed back against the wall along with the other chairs.
I just don't get why you get to pilot the ship alone. Everyone is going to have to learn how to man their stations quickly and on the fly. Delaying that is only going to hinder us. At the very least, a second pair of eyes would reduce the chance of user error. I'm just as experienced as you, Colonel, and I'd rather not blow up on our way into orbit.
Jessex lifted one eyebrow in irritation, then slowly and deliberately spoke. "Lieutenant Colonel, if you want something to do, then make the announcement over the ship's internal messaging system that we are taking off in 30 seconds, whether the sergeant is strapped into his seat or not." Eyes widening, then narrowing in annoyance, Carthan swiveled in his chair, willing it to move to a neglected terminal mounted into the wall. "Sergeant Nikoski, you better be in the lift on your way up here because we're about to take off." Hozick nearly jumped out of his skin as the lift doors opened, at the exact second he keyed off the mic. "You give the order and I will carry it out, sir. I would have obeyed faster, but a Truvo tripped me on the way to the lift." His wide, sterling smile immediately sucked the tension out of the room. "Amusing, but Truvo do not exist, An old wives' tale to frighten young engineers into triple-checking their work. Nothing more. Ah, but are they, Vereka? I thought that engineers and scientists were taught to keep open minds. Okay, people, cut the chatter. We have liftoff in 2, 1. As Jessic spoke the last word, he entered the command to start the thrusters, propelling him and his team up at a sharp angle, meticulously calculated to help the ship fight Adastria's gravitational pull. The G-force was uncomfortable, to say the least, but with their enhanced bodies, their suits, and hardware took the brunt of the force. Within 15 minutes, they were already officially in outer space. Jessix gently eased off the thrusters, bringing the speed down to a more comfortable level, and immediately began plotting a course to the set of coordinates that the High Command had entrusted to them. Once done, he checked the ETA. Frowning, he spoke. All right, crew. Just in case your memory drive was damaged in the ascension, my name is Jessix Jeffel. You may address me as Sir or Colonel. We have been entrusted with the most important mission of our lives, and possibly the most dangerous. We will arrive at the last known location of the alien ship in 4 hours, 23 minutes, and 15 seconds. Set your internal clocks accordingly. Mission prep meeting is in 3 hours in the operations room. I suggest you use your time wisely. Dismissed. At that, he turned and exited the bridge via the lift. Okay then, who spaced his Ausex? You assume that he ever had one. He hasn't come off as a pet-owning type to me.
The audacity to even suggest that my brain drive would be damaged by something as simple as an ascension. I've modified every part of me that is capable of such a thing. Why, my specifications changed how we outfit our soldiers. The absolute nerve!
Now that is rich. My brother has just said more words in one sitting than he has in his entire life, and he managed to offend everyone in the room. At this revelation, all eyes were on Sanasha. Wait, you're telling me that the colonel is your brother? Well, yes, Sergeant. Did you really not see the family resemblance? Don't tell me you thought we were married. The sergeant quickly stammered out a no, while Vereka studied her carefully.
Twins, then? I thought it would be a rare coincidence that you both share the same facial structure so extensively that even under your different implants it was still observable.
But why would the High Command stick two siblings on the same mission? That goes against just about every protocol on the data card. This whole mission has been off from the start. I watched my squad die around me, only for there to be no debrief, and then getting an immediate high-risk assignment. Not that I'm complaining. A chance of getting back at these freaks is just the thing I needed, but I'm not blind. It's convenient. Well, there's nothing we can do about it now. If we're going to be boarding a ship in 4 hours, I personally would like to check out the weapons locker. We should probably divide and conquer. You're right. I didn't get the chance to really look over the med bay, and I should probably prep it just in case.
We should all retire to our Forte-specific tasks, then meet up for the briefing. We can cover anything of note then.
Sinasha felt her mind drive beginning to overheat. This state-of-the-art, perfectly labeled medical bay was impossible to actually use. Did the High Command have the accounting department stock the supplies? Who alphabetized this? Who thought putting the bionic morphic remover by the bionic nerve sterilizer was a good idea? It's a good thing that I had the good sense to check. Now that should do it. The med bay is prepped and ready for action, just in time to head to the briefing. Vereka was, well, a stronger word than peeved.
This is an absolute travesty. These tools are not the correct make. Oh, what I wouldn't give for a configurable neurotransmitter thermometer from Stardust. Oh, well, the lab itself is perfect. I'm not even sure I could have done a better job myself. Oh, that's ridiculous. Of course I could have. I still can, technically. There are so many projects that I could start. but it seems that my taking inventory took up too much time and I should really be getting to operations.
So we have 6 Dark Light Halberds, 3 Omega Gyro Scramblers, 1 Bionic Harpoon, 10 Personal Quarterstaves, 2 Seeker Hammers. I call dibs on the Incendiary Razor, that looks like fun. Only you, Lieutenant Colonel, would call a weapon like that fun. We also have 6 Particle Eradicators. These are standard basic sidearms that every soldier is trained with. Are we supplying ourselves, or are we training an army? Hey, look at this! An honest, real-life shock destructor! You are too little to handle the recoil on that cannon. I will carry it if we deem it necessary.
Oh, come on, I could totally handle it. Or I could just take this scatter wrist gun. I'm drooling here.
I hope you have familiarized yourself with the ship schematics.
Of course I did. Memorized and visualized. What about this plasma wrist cannon?
That would belong to me.
Ah! Colonel, we did, not see you there.
Where have you been? We've combed through all of the ship's decks, and you weren't anywhere. I have been maximizing my potential, as I see that all of you have done. Mostly. The last jab was aimed at Carthon, who glared back in response. Shall we go to operations together, sir? The sergeant's only response was a slight head and tilt in his direction, and then the colonel turned and began walking in the direction of their destination. As Carthon and Rallick fell into step behind him, Carthon took the time to acknowledge his apprehensions surrounding his commander.
This guy better live up to his reputation. If he's just another exaggerated story, then we're all in serious trouble here.